And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/takesbyfans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways. Alrighty, today is a big old Tuesday. We are going to be continuing on with our kind of NFL team refresher. We just did the Lions yesterday on the show, and they are just not looking that great. When your offensive line is the best thing about your team, it's a good starting spot, which is good because Dan Campbell's taken over as head coach for the Lions, but just overall in this season, we're not projecting the Lions to really do anything great. So we'll spin the wheel and choose a random team and do their NFL team refresher going into the season, seeing what they did last year, seeing what they did in the offseason, seeing who they picked up in the draft, who did they lose, how do they kind of compare offensively, defensively, just compared to everybody else in the league, and then we'll walk through their schedule and see how many wins we can give them this season coming up. So we got that today on the show. And folks, our new set should be completed by Thursday. Thursday show, we should be presenting and unveiling our new set. We just got our flag in yesterday. It looks so great, folks. It looks so great. I can't wait to show y'all. I can't wait to put it up. Man, oh man, I was this close to spoiling it a little bit early on Twitter yesterday, but we decided to hold off on that for the Thursday big reveal. So we're just waiting on the new canvases. The flag is looking amazing, folks. I don't want to give it away, but I will give it a little hint on what the flag is. It's probably the biggest narrative that we will be kind of focusing in on and tracking throughout the entire NFL season this year, folks. So if you watch this show, if you know what we've been talking about, if you know what we really kind of dig a lot deep into and what we kind of value this season going in, you may be able to figure it out, but cannot wait to get that flag up on Thursday, folks. It's going to look fantastic. So look forward to that because we definitely are over here. So let's just jump right into it with the stories of the day. And the first one up, folks, alrighty, Carson Wentz is undergoing foot surgery yesterday. So he's already done. He's out of the surgery. I'm assuming it went well because I didn't hear that it did not go well. You really don't hear that surgery went well unless it didn't go well. So Carson Wentz did have surgery yesterday to repair his foot. So now, you know, the timetable of 5 to 12 weeks. And if it's kind of going to be 5 weeks, then he's going to be back before week 1. It's that week before the Thursday night game, and they'll be good to go for the Sunday the 9th. So Carson Wentz could potentially play every single game. And like we said, we don't like Carson Wentz being injured, but this was kind of a previous injury. It's not like this is a new injury. This was something that Carson Wentz was really kind of dealing with for a long time, but it just finally got to the point where now it requires surgery. So we're still kind of decently believing in Carson Wentz. If I have to put like a number, a percentage to it, I'd probably say I'm still 80 out of 100 percentage points buying into Carson Wentz when he can get back healthy. Now it's just how far can Jacob Eason take this team while Carson Wentz is out for, we don't know. Now, the Colts are very, very, very optimistic that Carson Wentz is pretty much going to be fine. They're expecting the first 2 weeks after the surgery just to be rest, and then that allows kind of 3 weeks to try to get back into rhythm, back into game playing shape. And the Colts, like I said, have been very optimistic, saying that this really should not affect him too much. He should really be able to kind of get back on the field very, very quickly. I don't think that they think it's going to take the full 12 weeks. It's probably definitely going to take 5. I don't see him coming back earlier than 5 weeks, but maybe 5 on the dot, maybe 6, maybe 7, but I really don't think this is going to be like the 12-week maximum that they're truly putting on Carson Wentz. So expect Carson Wentz maybe to miss the first 1, 2, 3 games, but there is still a I would probably say 20%. I'll put a percentage to it. I'll say 20% chance that Carson Wentz is back before week 1 starts, and that'd be absolutely fantastic. But I'm believing in Jacob Eason. Like we said, plug and play quarterback. We think the man can do it. He had a full season just to kind of absorb what the NFL is like. He's on the same team, so he's got a little bit of kind of rhythm under his belt on how this team just operates, and you learned under Phillip Rivers for a year. You can definitely take something away from that. So if Jacob Eason does have to kind of come in 1, 2, 3 games, we believe they could have a real solid chance to win that game, a 50-50 chance to win that game, because Jacob Eason could just be the game manager out there. Now, the big story going on in the media, the national media, social media, and all that is, well, why don't the Colts go out and get another quarterback? And the big name coming around is, why don't they go out and get Nick Foles? Nick Foles' name has been thrown around willy-nilly out here. You can't do that to Carson Wentz again. Do y'all not understand that Carson Wentz was a little fed up with the Eagles because of Nick Foles? Because they praised Nick Foles for taking over Carson Wentz, who got injured. The statue, folks. They made a statue of Nick Foles outside of the Eagles Stadium while they were telling Carson Wentz he was their main man. He was their face of the franchise. You can't go out and get Nick Foles. I'm hearing this by everybody. Oh my God, it's such a clear choice. It's such a clear option. This is a no-brainer decision. You go out and get Nick Foles. No, you don't. Why? Why? Nick Foles does not win regular season games, folks. He caught magic. He caught magic one off-season, one postseason run in the Super Bowl, and it's great. I'm not knocking Nick Foles of that, but I am knocking Nick Foles of just last season floundering with the Bears. Mitch Trubisky was putting up more points than Nick Foles was, and Mitch Trubisky is kind of garbage. So what are you getting with Nick Foles? You're not getting anything. You don't get solid production offensively with Nick Foles. You just don't. He's not good unless there's kind of some magic in the air, some kind of pressure on him. And if he goes to the Colts, there's no pressure. He's not fighting for a starting job. As soon as Carson Wentz gets back, it's going to be Carson Wentz. Nick Foles would just once again be a backup, and he's not that good of a backup, folks. The best backup quarterback in this league is still not that great. Like we said, Ryan Fitzpatrick is probably the best backup in football, and he's only at like a 500 record, folks. It's nothing great. He throws a lot of picks, and Nick Foles just does not put up points, folks. If we take a look at what the Bears did last season, let's get it up by this. We can just see, I mean, that's why Matt Nagy started Nick Foles and then had to go back to Mitch Trubisky, because the man was not putting up points to win games. So I don't understand why everyone is so in love with Nick Foles again. Why? Why? He doesn't do anything. He doesn't win games. He doesn't even put up points. So let's go into the games this season for the Bears. We could probably pick them out very, very easily here. I don't fully know which games Nick Foles played in, but I can tell you that we can accurately predict all the games that Nick Foles played in by just looking at the Bears points total. Now, he did come in and win the Atlanta Falcons game, I will say that, but he did throw a pick his first series in. So that's kind of when the change happened. Mitch Trubisky threw an interception against the Falcons, and then they bring in Nick Foles, and he threw an interception, but they rock with him, and Nick Foles did end up winning that game. So I will give credit for Nick Foles for winning that Falcons game. All right, but then I'm going to guess that he played against this Colts team because they only put up 11 points. They put up 11 points. Let's see if Nick Foles was the starter here. And there he is. Nick Foles, bingo bango, was the starter of that 11-point game. Alrighty, let's take the following week against the Bucs. Probably played that one. They won the game. Congratulations. But they, once again, only put up 20 points. It's nothing that great. And Nick Foles did play that game as well. I'll give him credit for the win there. Alrighty, against the Panthers, 23 points. A solid point total there. I'm sure he played. Let's just quickly take a look. All right, and he did start that game. Alrighty, he still had a pick in that game and didn't even throw for 200 yards. So, yeah, they put up 23 points, but it's really not a Nick Foles. All right, I'm going to say that he played against the Rams where he only scored 10 points. Let's take a look. Yes, he did. There he is. 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in a 10-point performance. Nick Foles is so good, folks. Isn't he so gosh dang good? Oh, my goodness. All right, let's keep going here. The 23-point overtime loss. I'm sure he played in this game as well. 23 points, once again, nothing great, just kind of average-ish. And Nick Foles did play. 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Unfortunate they lose in overtime. All right, they put up 17 points against the Titans. Oh, let me guess. Nick Foles played in this game. 17 little old points. And there he is, Nick Foles. He had a pretty decent game, 335 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. But still, once again, not translating to any points. 17 points is really not going to win a game in the NFL. If you're not scoring more than 23, 24 points, 24 to 30 points, you're pretty much not going to win that game. That's just kind of how point totals come out in NFL games. If you're not putting up 24 to 30, don't expect to win the game. All right, here we go. They put up 13 points against the Vikings. Against the Vikings, the worst defense in the league last season, and you put up 13 points? Come on, Nick Foles. 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, 106 yards total? What? I mean, this is what y'all want to have on this Colts team? And then we're back at 25 points. And I want to say this is Mitch Trubisky back in. I want to say he gets to start again week 12. Let's quickly take a look because this is 25 points. This is a solid point total here. Who was the quarterback? Mitch Trubisky back at quarterback. And let's round out the last point totals for the rest of the season, folks. 30, 36, 33, 41, and then 16 the last game of the season. Little flounder game, unfortunate. So, just Nick Foles does not put up the points. He's getting beat out by Mitch Trubisky in points, but just overall, it still doesn't really matter. The Bears still don't win the games most of the time, but it's just that Nick Foles does not give you the best shot to win in this league. So you don't really get anything meaningful in the win department. You don't get anything motivating Carson Wentz. He's actually going to probably resent you if you do this. So this is a lose-lose scenario. If Nick Foles joins the Colts for a meaningless, a couple of games, 4 or 5 games, and then he has to come in and learn the playbook and learn with these receivers. No, just stick with Jacob Eason. I think the man can get it done. Just be the game manager. You don't have to burn down this season, because Carson Wentz got a little tweaked up, just a little bit, with a pre-existing injury. Everyone take a deep breath. This team is built to win. Quarterback doesn't really matter. You just need somebody that can accurately deliver the ball and be that game manager. So stick with Jacob Eason. Just stick with Jacob Eason. That's really the only kind of logical decision. Nick Foles brings you nothing, but it just brings the overall team chemistry way, way, way down. The man is not good, folks. He caught magic in the playoffs. Some people do that. That happens. Eli Manning beat Tom Brady twice on some miraculous throws. Is Eli Manning better than Tom Brady? No. Is Nick Foles better than any other quarterback in this league? No. He just won a Super Bowl by catching magic. It happens, folks. It happens in this league. But we've seen it time and time again. What is Nick Foles' starting record? Let's see what that is. Let me get Nick Foles' overall record, because I'm sure it's way, way more losses than it is wins. I think by a wide margin. So here we go. He is 28-27, career 500 quarterback, folks. Backup at best, and he's still not even that great as a backup. I mean, the man just cannot get it done, folks. He's not a winner. That's all there is to it. Career 62% completion percentage. Absolutely very, very not good, folks. So I don't want to give Nick Foles this job. I don't understand why everybody is really kind of saying this is like the biggest no-brainer decision in the offseason. I'm not buying any of it. And let's just talk about Nick Foles trying to get back to the Colts. He's trying. We can go in this article, and I believe they're going to post some quotes here of Nick Foles because he's praising Frank Reich. They have history together, all of this. I just don't think it's a great decision. I don't even think it's a good decision for the Colts in general, and Carson Wentz will take big offense to this. Carson Wentz wants to get as far away from Nick Foles as he can because Nick Foles overshadows Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz just wants to be the face somewhere, wants to be the guy. If you tell Carson Wentz he's the guy, you better mean it, because he just spent 4 seasons in Philadelphia with them telling him he's the guy, but doing everything in their power to kind of their actions speaking that he's not the guy. They get rid of him. They draft a quarterback replacement. They have a statue of Nick Foles outside their home stadium. So none of that screams Carson Wentz is the guy, and we all saw how that resulted for the Eagles and Carson Wentz just in general. So let's get some of these quotes up here that Nick Foles is saying here, because he's the one that's kind of starting all this kind of talk about getting traded to the Colts, and the Colts going out and actively getting this man on the roster. So this is what we got, some quotes here. Colts coach Frank Reich was the Eagles' offensive coordinator at the time of the Super Bowl, so the fit is obvious enough. Foles made it clear he wants to have involvement in his destination if he is to be traded, and spoke highly of Frank Reich. Says, quote, "Listen, Frank Reich is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, coaches of all time. He understands me as a player. He understands me as a person. But I haven't had any talks with them. I'm a Chicago Bear right now, but he knows me. He understands." All right, then we get this other quote. Foles is less than 4 years removed from winning Super Bowl MVP, but his career since then hasn't had the same good fortune. He struggled for the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2019 and again last year in 7 starts for the Bears. If he's on the move again, he wants familiarity. Says, quote, "In this league, I don't want to go somewhere that I don't know. I don't want to listen. Great coaches, when you have a great coaching staff, it's something special. A big reason why we were great in Philly was we had a great coaching staff." So once again, just him catching magic, him having Doug Peterson, him having Frank Reich, just a great coaching staff overall was the reason why they were able to win the Super Bowl. It's not like Nick Foles was throwing absolute dimes every single throw, every single pass. He had the Philly special, a trick play that is kind of thought of by the offensive coordinator and the head coach. Nick Foles did not come up with that play. He executed it to perfection, so we'll give him credit, but still at the end of the day, it was a team collaborative effort, and it's truly not Nick Foles by himself, a la as we've been seeing the last 2 seasons with the Jags in 2019 when he was the starter, not getting it done, and then he goes to the Bears and still doesn't get it done when you just have to back up Mitch Trubisky, and you still can't even beat out Mitch Trubisky for a starting job. It's like, what are we doing, folks? Truly. So a big reason we were great in Philly was we had a great coaching staff. They put us in a position to succeed, and it showed. Everyone can say it showed. That being said, I don't want to just go somewhere where I don't know them. I don't know the offense. I've gone down that road, and it's not fun. So I don't think this is the right decision, even very, very close. This is the absolute wrong decision to make. Nick Foles would just ruin the locker room. It would make Carson Wentz a little upset that this man is once again overshadowing. I mean, you could just imagine the stories being written right now just in case this thing does happen. I mean, everyone's just going to be making a mockery of Carson Wentz, and once again, that's not what he wants, folks. He was upset there was a mockery with the Eagles last year, with him having all those interceptions and him not being the man and them not committing to him. The man wants some stability. The man wants to be praised as a franchise guy, and I can't blame him when everyone's telling you, hey, you're our guy, you're the guy. Don't listen to anything else. Don't worry about Nick Foles getting Super Bowl MVP. Don't worry about us kind of, still having Nick Foles on the team this year. Don't worry about Nick Foles' statue outside the home stadium. You are our guy. Carson Wentz, too, was just fed up last year with the Eagles, was pushed past his breaking point, and if you bring in Nick Foles, I think it's just going to leave a real bad taste in his mouth, and then we get careless Carson Wentz, and careless Carson Wentz throws the most interceptions in the league, as he did last season. So don't go out in Nick Foles. Please ride with Jacob Eason. Just practice with the man. He's basically got an entire training camp to get ready and get prepared, and he's got great players all around him, offensively, defensively, coaching staff wise, all over the place on the offensive side of the ball. 2 great wide receivers, 3 great running backs. It's like you don't need Tom Brady to go out and win the Super Bowl for this Colts team. So Don't get Nick Foles. That's the message. Don't get Nick Foles. It makes no sense to you. Everyone is trying to make it seem like it's such an obvious choice to do it, but it's really not, folks. It's 100% the wrong decision. I've got no problem living and dying by that take. This is the wrong decision to even think about bringing Nick Foles to this Colts team. Alrighty, let's move on here. So today is basically the first day of pads for training camp teams out here, and you will know it's the first day with pads because I got a lot of crazy stories already, folks. So let's just start with this one. This one doesn't really have to do with full pads, but it's still not a great sign here for this Giants team that once again, I mean, we are just falling off on this Giants team every single day. I mean, we were big on this Giants team going into training camp. We had this team as kind of the #1 team in the NFC East, but seeing what the Cowboys did and seeing just all this stuff that's going on with this Giants team, we are selling this Giants team very, very hard. So the first thing that happened today in training camp for the Giants, well, Kenny Golladay, folks. Little bit of a hamstring injury. You see him grabbing the back of his leg here after this play. The tweet reads, wide receiver Kenny Golladay just walked inside with a trainer not long after this play. You can see him kind of grab the back of his leg. And then this man says, Mario Pilato again says, this is very concerning with Galladay's past hamstring issues. Hopefully the Giants give him the proper rest so this doesn't linger. Looks to be a grade 1 with a 2 to 3 weeks RTP. Return to practice, I'm assuming. So this man, once again, this is their best wide receiver that they have. And if he's going to be hobbled with a hamstring injury again, like he kind of did with the Detroit Lions, it's just going to hinder this Giants team. So big strike #1 here for the Giants today. Not great. Kenny Golladay, potential hamstring injury still acting up. And then we get this. Oh my goodness. Wild scene at Giants practice. Pushing, shoving. Jabril Peppers, Evan Ingram, Logan Ryan, Daniel Jones ends up at the bottom of a huge pile. Joe Judge, their head coach, is hot. Entire team is on the goal line running for as long as Judge decides. He's still hot. No push-ups in the end zone. No joke. So we had a little bit of an injury to their best wide receiver, and then we just had an all-out brawl here for this Giants team. So what the hell is going on? No Saquon Barkley, Kenny Galladay's injured, your main man Daniel Jones is at the bottom of a dog pile. You got your head coach making them run endlessly because it's such a bad kind of wild nonsense thing. So what the hell is going on here with this Giants team? Everything that can go wrong is going wrong with this Giants team, and we absolutely hate it big time. So this is kind of what led up to the dog pile. So first day of pads got ugly. Corey Clement got popped at the end of a play during 11 on 11s. Evan Ingram defended his guy. Logan Ryan crushed Ingram from behind. Team scuffled, guys on the ground. End result, a furious Joe Judge. 10 minutes later, Giants still running sprints. So, oh my goodness, folks. This is not what we want to hear. This is not what we want to see from this Giants team. We're expecting big things from Daniel Jones. We're expecting big things from Saquon Barkley when he comes back. We're expecting big things from Kadarius Toney, the rookie wide receiver here. And it's just, everything is just going wrong. It's just being wild. Injuries, tight-lippedness, people getting into fights here, endless sprints now. So that's what you get with full pads. You know, competitive nature rises. I mean, 90-plus people are competing for 53 jobs. People are wanting to prove that they've got the talent to make it. They've got the edge to make it. They've got the toughness. They've got the mental competitive edge to make it. And this is what we get. Injuries and scuffles all over the place. Is this the next story up? Yes, it is. So once again, pads are on, competitive is going up, and now some player just got cut instantly because they were just trying to do a little bit too much, trying to prove themselves a little bit too much. So we get this now from the Panthers camp. Panthers wide receiver Keith Kirkwood had to be put on a backboard and carted off the field to an ambulance after taking a hit to the head from undrafted safety JT eBay, folks. So we can try to see the play here. We can try to zoom in far away. So here we go. Here comes the pass. Wide receiver over the middle. Safety comes over and lays a real unnecessary hit. I mean, no reason for this hit right here. Just not a good football play. Really not even a football play in general. And eBay was kicked out of practice, and Kirkwood was moving his arms and legs, so which is always a great thing. So seemed to be maybe just shaken up a little bit because of the hit, but the Panthers aren't playing around, and they instantly cut the man. Panthers wide receiver Keith Kirkwood has movement in his legs, no neck pain after taking a hit to the head in camp. Carolina waives safety JT eBay for, quote, unacceptable play. So trying to do too much, first day in pads, first time to try to kind of, prove your true competitive nature. We just heard Urban Meyer yesterday on the show say, this is, now we're starting to get into the competitive side of training camp once the pads come on. Full speed out here, getting hit, taking hits, making your presence known defensively. Like we said, 90-plus players competing for 53 spots. Undrafted rookie right here. JT eBay trying to make a name for himself, trying to make a good play, trying to make sure that wide receiver Keith Kirkwood didn't catch that ball. So it's a plus for him and his defensive kind of team overall. So it looks better for him so he could try to get on this roster. Like we said, being undrafted, trying to do everything in your power to go and win the starting job. Unfortunately, just makes a little bit of a careless play, and that's all it takes. You're out of here now. We're not going to be putting up with undrafted players ruining, injuring, potentially paralyzing, killing, gosh forbid. If that happened, that would have been the worst thing ever. But, just trying to make a name for yourself. So pads, people are feeling themselves a little bit more here. And now we're starting to kind of get into truly the full swing of a football season. The injuries, the unnecessary kind of big hits, the scuffles, the kind of, competitive edge, just kind of real tensions running short throughout the entire practice. So not looking good here with the first, I mean, we're in mere hours of the first day of true pads, and we're already getting a lot of wild stories going on so far. So you can tell it's pad day, folks. You can tell it is officially pad day in the NFL. Alrighty, let's keep moving on here. And folks, we are not worried about Tua. I know the national media says Tua's a bust and is garbage. I know Dolphins fans are saying that Tua's a bust and he's garbage. We were never on that narrative. We never, ever said that. We've never floundered. We never wavered on Tua. We've always believed in the man. What is the biggest thing that we say that Tua has? The accuracy. We absolutely love the accuracy out of this man, where he's placing the ball in tight throws, getting it there, one-on-one fades in the end zone. Love it, love it, love it. Putting it up for the wide receiver to go out and get it, trusting his guys. So we always believed in this man's accuracy, and now we get reconfirmation from his own teammates out here, folks. Love hearing this. So safety for the Dolphins, Eric Rowe, on what the biggest difference is between the Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa in 2021. So he says, quote, he's always had accuracy. That was never a problem. He's always had accuracy. He's always had the zip. He's always had power. I just believe it's the year 2 jump everyone needs to make from their rookie year. Obviously, the type of offense last year, I even noticed his playbook was condensed to slants and bubbles. They really wouldn't let him show his arm, and now seeing in training camp, he's got a lot more deep routes. They're allowing him the opportunity to throw it deep. That's what we need. So once again, we blame Chan Gailey for that awful playbook. We just saw the sheer differences. We saw the numbers of just sheer play calling differences by Chan Gailey for Ryan Fitzpatrick and Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, for Ryan Fitzpatrick, they were just letting him air it out because he's a vet, he is a gunslinger, they can let him do that. But with Chan Gailey, he was holding Tua back, and that's not how you implement a starting quarterback in this league. If you don't want the man to play, then you shouldn't have him out on the field. You should still be kind of rocking with whoever the starter is. Don't start the rookie. But if you are going to start the rookie, you can't hold him back. You can't hold him back from trying to kind of get everything down. If you're going to throw the man into the fire by just throwing him out there year one, rookie year of an NFL season, make sure everything is available to him so he understands the entirety of the offense, of the playbook, taking the shots when he can. Because, I mean, why hold him back? Now you're just hindering his year two success, because now you're like, all right, so that was a good rookie year, but now here's the other kind of 50% of the playbook. And now it's kind of like a rookie year all over again of learning the deep ball. So yeah, you perfected the short ball rookie year, but now you're kind of already in the rookie state of the deep ball progression year two. So everybody's seeing it here. I've been reading some really solid reports from what Tua's been doing in training camp so far. It's seeming like he's having the most flawless, I don't want to say this, but this is what I've been reading, folks. It truly looks like he has the most flawless training camp of a quarterback. Honestly, he's not throwing the picks. He's just airing it out. Him and Jalen Waddle are absolutely connecting and hooking up, and he's throwing the ball deep. He's got the arm safety right here on the defensive side of the ball for the Dolphins, saying that the accuracy's always been great and the deep ball's freaking fantastic. The arm strength is fantastic. It was just last year the play calling was holding him back. So Tua is about to silence everybody wrong this season, and we love it. We love Tua. We believe in Tua. I don't think you should trade for Deshaun Watson. Yes, Deshaun Watson is better than Tua right now. Deshaun Watson's better than 95% of the quarterbacks out there right now. The only clear-cut quarterbacks that are better than Deshaun Watson are Patrick Mahomes. That's really the only quarterback that is hands down better. Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, I think kind of very, very similar. Very similar. So just unfortunate Tua's going into a second year. But we believe in Tua, and he's about to prove everybody wrong, and we won't be having to, eat any kind of wrong pie or anything like that. Like, oh, we were wrong. We have to eat this. Oh, no. We don't have to eat our words. Our words are, we believe in them, and y'all are about to have to eat our words. So I will ship the words to you so y'all can eat those words for us. All right, let's go to the quarterback battle here in Jacksonville. And like we said, Urban Meyer saying that, hey, it's going to be statistically how we choose the starting quarterback is going to be by the numbers, by the stats. And so far, it's Gardner Minshew, folks. Yesterday was kind of the first initial day that Urban Meyer was going to keep stats on the quarterback play here in training camp. And so far, Gardner Minshew is out to a hot start. So, Jaguars quarterback roundup day 5. Here we go. Trevor Lawrence went 14 of 21 with 2 interceptions. Started 1 for 6 with interceptions. I heard 3 interceptions, so we'll see which one's kind of the true one. But either way, he's throwing multiple interceptions in 14 of 21. It's all right. It's, 66%. It's solid. But the 2 interceptions, 2 turnovers, not getting it done. Then we have Gardner Minshew. He went 17 of 20, only 3 incompletions, a perfect 5 for 5 in 7-on-7. So once again, Gardner Minshew is truly getting it done here in training camp. And if Urban Meyer is going to stick to his word of saying this is a true open quarterback competition, Gardner Minshew should be kind of front place right now, the lead right now, first place, if you will, of the quarterback competition. So we'll see how the rest of the training camp goes. We'll see what happens in the preseason games. But so far, Gardner Minshew is making his case of why he should be a starting quarterback in this league and why he should be starting for the Jaguars this season. So shout out to Gardner Minshew, folks. He's truly getting it done, and I would love to see this man get another opportunity to start with kind of, a solid mind of Urban Meyer and just an overall good team, and seeing what this man is truly capable of, because like we said, we do like his stats. Unfortunately, they don't result into wins. All right, and then talking about the quarterback competitions, let's head over to the Broncos and see what's been going on here. Yesterday, Teddy Bridgewater had perhaps his best practice of training camp as he racked up completions while also pushing the ball down the field. So we've heard from Drew Lock, he hasn't thrown an interception yet in training camp. We get Teddy Bridgewater having his best practice yesterday. So once again, this quarterback battle, it is truly going to come down to the preseason games. Vic Fangio, week one after the first week of training camp, basically saying, we're in for the long haul here. We're not going to make an early decision. Both these quarterbacks are looking good. We're hearing that. We are seeing that as well. And the preseason games are truly going to decide who's going to win the starting quarterback job here. So for this Denver Broncos team. So we are going to have to kind of wait a little bit. We won't be able to kind of, like we said, see or read who's winning during training camp. But when we watch those preseason games, we have to kind of decide who's looking better. And we'll see if there is a kind of a clear-cut front runner there when preseason game 1 happens, when preseason game 2 happens, and then that last preseason game. We'll see it. So we'll be watching those preseason games very, very, very intensely. Alrighty, what's up next? Here we go. Interesting here. So, former Texans and Titans running back D'Onta Foreman is visiting today with the Atlanta Falcons. Alrighty, so the running back position is basically the worst offensive piece that we believe the Falcons team has. You have Arthur Smith, the head coach for the Falcons, coming off of an offensive coordinator team last season with the Titans with Derrick Henry, the best running back in the league. And now he's going to a Falcons team that just doesn't really have that running back. Mike Davis. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan of Mike Davis last season. I really thought, it was his time to really put up or shut up last season because there was no Christian McCaffrey and he was running back number 1 for that Panthers team, and unfortunately just had an average-ish season. Nothing great, an average tier 2 season. Solid yards, didn't break 1,000. I think it was like 600 yards in total. Just truly nothing special. So that's kind of running back number 1 for this Falcons team. They also have Cordell Patterson, which I don't really love either. He's never been even a solid tier 2, an average tier 2 running back season. The most he's ever rushed for in a season, I believe, is like 300 yards. I mean, the man's not a running back. He's a wide receiver turned running back, and that never works out ever. So I wasn't a big fan of the Falcons running backs going into training camp. That's why we said we wanted to kind of go out and get Le'Veon Bell. We thought that would be a solid fit for this team. So let's see what D'Onta Foreman has. Obviously, I've never heard of this man before, so I'm not expecting big things from him. Now, I will give Mike Davis the benefit of the doubt because I have been hearing some decent things out of him, about him in training camp coming out so far, and it's only been a weekend, so I will give him credit, and we will decently kind of buy into him a little bit this season for the Falcons. But let's see what running back D'Onta Foreman is all about. Can this man potentially be the running back number 1 for this Falcons team? Let's take a quick look. So he's going into his 4th season, was drafted in 2017, and he went into the 3rd round, folks. 89th overall to the Houston Texans. So that's not bad for a running back. Really should still be a solid option out here. Year 1 for the Texans, only rushed for 327 yards because he only had 78 rushes. He rushed for 4.2 yards a carry, which is pretty solid, folks. I'll take that all day. So not bad there. He doesn't really catch, only 83 yards, but once again, it's low reps, so it's a little hard to gauge. He did have 13 yards per reception that year, so once again, pretty solid. Year 2, didn't really play, only had 7 rushes for -1 yard, only played in 1 game. And then in 2020, last season with the Tennessee Titans, you're running behind Derrick Henry. You're never getting the ball, and that's exactly what happened. So never really had the opportunity to be the main starting running back here. Let's go back to the Houston Texans in 2017, his rookie year, just to kind of see where he was. Who was the starting running back here for this Texans team? They had Lamar Miller, who rushed for 888 yards. So once again, it's just, you're not going to be going to D'Onta Foreman, a rookie. So a little unfortunate there. Just never really got the starting spot ever. But he's going into his 4th season now. He's a 6'1", 236 running back. And we have some highlights here about D'Onta Foreman. So let's just see what we're getting. Are we seeing anything promising, anything big? Is he explosive? Is he quick? Is he accelerating? Is he big, beefy? Is he running over these defenders? So let's just quickly see what we can potentially see from D'Onta Foreman for this Falcons team. And if he can kind of try to challenge running back number 1, Mike Davis. So let's roll this highlight tape here. Let's see. Here we go. First play. This is from 2018, and I believe in the preseason. All right, he hits the edge against the Bengals. Just couldn't stay on his feet. All righty. Here we go. Run play number 2, right up the middle. Doesn't really get anything. Keeps his feet moving right into the pile instantly. Maybe a 2-yard gain. Here we go. Run number 3. Off the left side, brought down. I mean, he got hit in the backfield, stays on his feet, and makes it like a 5-yard gain. So this is pretty promising, staying on his feet. You love to see it. This is Thursday Night Football, excuse me. Rookie year, Thursday Night Football. Alrighty, solid workout here. Running to the right on 2nd and 5. Picks up the first down, gets inside the 10. Real solid there. Some solid speed. He stays on his feet. He is kind of beefy. Like we said, 6'1", 230. Solid size there by a running back. All right, back in the red zone here at the 10-yard line. Run up the middle. Doesn't get anything. Here we go. Back at the 10. Running off the left side. Yeah, brought it down for only a 2-yard gain. The speed isn't kind of anything, breaking the top off the defense or anything like that. Here we go. Back running, runs right into the pile up the middle, like 1-yard gain. Here we go, right up the middle. 2-3-yard gain. Here we go, up the middle, like 1-yard gain. Nothing great. All right, let's see what this play is all about here against this Cardinals team now. All right, here we go. Catching the ball here. All right, catches it. Goes for about 5 yards. Gets brought down. Doesn't really have that quick start. No real quick acceleration. Here we go from the 3-yard line. Going right up the middle. There we go. Scoring there against this Cardinals team. Look at that, man. Yes, sir. We can watch this one play one more time. Just follows his blocker, stays on his feet. And, he stays on his feet pretty decently. He's kind of seeming like he's hard to bring down. Here we go. Rush off the right side. There we go. Look at the speed. Oh, there we go. Now we're talking. Bango, bango. 30 yards. Able to kind of walk the tightrope of the sideline. Is he injured now? Oh, no. Did he just get injured on the best play that we just saw from him? He is. He's down in the end zone. That ankle. Oh, my gosh. He's injured, folks. No. The best play we've seen him do, he gets injured right at the end of it. Look at him just kind of beat the final safety right there. Staying in bounds, getting tripped up, and then hurting his ankle. Damn, his best play, and he hurts his ankle. So that last play was pretty promising, and we'll see if he can kind of return to that form. Now a couple of seasons under his belt, trying to kind of, work behind some good running backs. He's played with the Texans. He's also played with the Titans. I mean, let's see if he learned anything under Derrick Henry. I mean, you were with Derrick Henry for a year, so that's pretty gosh dang good. I would love to learn from Derrick Henry. So that's who the Falcons just signed, running back D'Onta Foreman, and we'll see what he can do in the running back room, the running back depth chart, and we'll see if they stick with Mike Davis or they try and get somebody else, or maybe D'Onta Foreman kind of shows out and balls out there. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on him. All right, we got another top 5 takeaways from training camp by Albert Breer, and this time by the Detroit Lions. And this comes at a pretty good time because we just talked about the Lions yesterday on the show in our 2021 Lions refresher. We had them going 2-15. We said there was kind of a max of 5 wins for this team overall. Really just cannot buy them. So let's see what Albert Breer is saying about his takeaways and what he saw here for the Lions. So here we go. Takeaway number 1. 3rd-round defensive tackle Aleem McNeil has shown real athleticism and feet for a 330-pounder, more than the scouts thought he had. Coaches are pumped to see him in pads. So once again, the best thing that we saw about this Lions team was the offensive line. So if this defensive line and just the defensive ends can just be real solid and get the pressure on the offense, maybe they can control the game by just running the ball a lot and keeping the clock moving. So let's see how good this Lions defense can be, because we did see it was the worst ranked defense last season. So we'll see if the rookie Alim McNeil, defensive tackle, can make a huge impact. But so far, people are loving him. All right, takeaway number 2, dark horse, waiver claim linebacker Sean Dean Hamilton. He's emerging in a crowded linebacker battle. So once again, shoring up their defense, worst ranked defense last season. The defensive line is really kind of solid, and if they can get the linebackers going, maybe they can kind of just be better. I mean, it's not going to be that hard to not be the worst ranked defense. At least you'll be 31 ranked out of 32. So let's see how this defense progresses. All right, takeaway number 3, cornerbacks interesting here. Jeff Okuda's playing more confident and will start. Amani Oruware emerging, and he and Mike Ford, Corn Elder, and AJ Parker have put themselves in play to play. So we saw that they lost some of their corners. They filled it in through the draft. They bring in Corn Elder. Let's see what Corn Elder is all about. We never really looked him up. Did he get any burn last season? Corn Elder. What a name. What a name. All right. He did play last season. Let's see what Corn Elder was doing. He's only 5'10". We like our corners to be like 6'2", a little tall out there. But he's only 5'10". Let's see what he was doing against the wide receivers last season. We got our favorite website up here, playerprofile.com, to see what these corners were giving up last season. All right. Corn Elder against Hunter Renfrow, 1 of 2 for 10 yards. Not terrible. Pretty solid. Against Larry Fitzgerald, 1 of 2 for -5 yards. Fantastic. Against Russell Gage for the Falcons, 1 of 2 for 8 yards. Against Russell Gage part 2, 3 of 3 for 39 yards, so he was able to kind of beat him the second time around. Against Anthony Miller, 1 of 1 for 10 yards. Against Demarcus Robinson, 4 of 6 for 65 yards, a little bit of a burn there. Against Chris Godwin, 4 of 5 for 57 yards. Against Mohamed Sanu, 0 of 4 for 0 yards and a pass breakup. Fantastic. And against KJ Hamler, 0 of 0. For 0 yards. Against Alan Lazard, 0 of 0 for 0 yards. So just wasn't targeted. So overall, not terrible. He's never been against any A1 tier 1 wide receivers in this league. Kind of got, never really got that many reps against these receivers, because we know he's not even the number 1 or number 2 option last season. So when he's just coming into being that kind of, special package role, or just kind of in the rotation for the rest of the starters, he's all right against the tier 2s. He's getting burned by any tier 1. I think the stats would pretty much say that. So Corn Elder kind of getting into the mix here. Overall, just the cornerbacks are trying to show out. So once again, this is kind of good that we're hearing some promising things about this Lions defense, because we need this Lions defense to be way better than what it was last season. At least on offense, you have a good line, so you can rush the ball, you can pass the ball, have protection time for Jared Goff to deliver the ball. You have Jared Goff, who's been a starting quarterback in this league, who has been to the Super Bowl, who has been in the playoffs starting quarterback-wise. So you have some decent leadership there. So really, if the defense can just be solid in a game-managing defense, we'll see if the offense can kind of get its shit together year 1 and just be a solid force offensively. So this is some solid things we're hearing from Albert Breer on the Lions defense. All right, let's go to takeaway number 4. Wide receivers wide open in slot. Khalif Raymond's name was raised to me repeatedly. So we got Khalif Raymond in the slot. We'll see if he can emerge. Wide receivers are wide open all the time. Now, that kind of tells you that their defense is not that great, right? We were just raving about their defense, but if their wide receivers are always open, that's not the best of that defense. And these wide receivers aren't anything great. I mean, these aren't, Kenny Golladay anymore. Let's look up this Lions depth chart to get just a reformation. Yeah, I mean, Tyrell Williams, Brashad Perryman, Quintez Cephas. I mean, folks, these are not tier 1 wide receivers in this league. So if they're getting wide open on these corners, maybe the defense isn't that great. But let's look at this last takeaway here. Takeaway number 5. DeAndre Swift's going to be the bell cow. And having Jamal Williams around has really helped the former second rounder take another step forward. Williams is also bringing more than expected in the passing game, so he should carve out a nice role. So once again, this is what we told, this is what we said about the Lions yesterday on the show when we were doing the team refresher. That the team really should just kind of run the ball a lot, be run heavy. The offensive line is there. You have DeAndre Swift, who was solid last season, a solid rookie performance, really kind of getting into his own at the end of the season. You bring in Jamal Williams from the Packers last season, a really solid tier 2 running back in this league. You can do a running back by committee here with DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. Just run the ball. You control the game because you're controlling the clock. So this is some solid things we're hearing about this Lions team. The offensive line is the best thing about this team. DeAndre Swift is going to be the workhorse bell cow running back here for this Lions team. And if they can just control the pace of the game, maybe they can squeak out a couple of wins here close by just kind of controlling the overall tempo of the game, controlling the clock. So we'll see what the Lions can do. Lions fans were real mad at me yesterday when I did that segment. I mean, I got downvoted on YouTube millions by millions. The Lions, I will say the Lions fans, they're very passionate, folks. You can't say anything bad about this Lions team, even though we all know that the Lions are kind of the worst team in the NFL. I mean, I don't think anybody can disagree by saying at least bottom 5, no. And it's not, I'm not digging, I'm not knocking the Lions. It's just unfortunate their organization has not been the best. And they don't have the best players. I would love to see this Lions team be good. I would like to see Jared Goff say, hey, fuck you, Sean McVay, I can play. I would love for DeAndre Swift to be like, yeah, I didn't have the best rookie year, but why are y'all not talking about me? I would love to have, who else do we got here? I would love to see Corn Elder be like, yes, sir, I am actually a starting cornerback. I'm a starting cornerback out here. Y'all don't get it? So I would love all that to happen. I just don't see it, folks. But Lions fans, I give y'all credit. You defend this team to the end of time. You don't care. 0-16, 0-17, it don't matter. Do not talk bad about the Lions because the fans will come at you. So I've learned that the hard way. I think my 2 most downvoted videos on our YouTube channel are making fun of Dan Campbell, and then what we just did yesterday, the Lions 2021 team refresher. People don't like it. They did not like that. All right. So we'll see what the Lions can do offensively and defensively this year. Alrighty, let's go to this. Now, this is really interesting. So we'll see if this article can kind of just put it all together for us to make a little bit of sense, because Deshaun Watson for this Texans team, he's kind of listed as the 4th string quarterback, and now he's not playing because of a minor injury. Today's the first day with pads, and he's not out there practicing. So let's see what we get with this article. Very, very short here. But I would like to hear a little bit more on him kind of being the 4th string quarterback. Real kind of bizarre. So it kind of seems like the Texans are truly preparing of not having Deshaun Watson this season, whether he can't play because the commissioner, Roger Goodell, says, yeah, these ongoing cases, we can't have you playing for us. It's unfortunate. Or they actually do trade him because we still know Deshaun Watson gets traded. So it does seem like the Texans are gearing up to not play with Deshaun Watson this season, and we'll get Tyrod Taylor as the quarterback. So I don't think that's bad either. I think it's a decent situation. Yeah, we may not see Deshaun Watson, but we can give Tyrod Taylor a second chance because unfortunately his second chance was ruined by not himself, the medical training staff last season. So let's see what we get in this article. Here we go. The Houston Texans' first padded practice of training camp kicked off Tuesday without Deshaun Watson. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported that Watson is dealing with what is described as a lingering minor injury. Trainers were spotted looking at Watson's foot and ankle during Monday's session. Watson has been on the field to open training camp, taking reps as the 4th string quarterback and lining up as a defensive back with the scout team. So what the hell? I mean, what is that? When have we ever seen that? A starting quarterback be the fourth string and then playing defense as well? It's like, so Deshaun Watson is not going to be this Houston's quarterback this year, folks. Whether he's on the team or not, he's not going to be playing. So it's real kind of bizarre what's been going on with this Houston Texans team. So do not expect Deshaun Watson to play this year, folks. It's not looking like it. He's the fourth string quarterback right now, and he is not a fourth string quarterback by any means, folks. He's hands down A1 tier 1 quarterback in this league. The 25-year-old reported to Texans training camp last week after remaining away from the club all offseason. Watson remains under investigation by both NFL and the police after being accused in 22 separate lawsuits filed in March and April of sexual assault and misconduct during massage sessions. The quarterback's trade request remains in place, and the team has been willing to listen to trade offers. On Monday, coach David Culley said, quote, "Nothing has changed with Watson's status with the club before the quarterback missed Tuesday's practice." So Deshaun Watson not in pads today, and even if he was in pads, he would still be the fourth string quarterback. So riddle us that, folks. Riddle us that. All right, last two things to go over here. Kyle Pitts, folks. It's Kyle Mother-loving Pitts, and that's the last two things we have to see. It's Kyle Pitts catching this ball, I believe, from two different angles. It's Matt Ryan kind of throwing up the ball to him, which he definitely could have thrown up a little bit higher. But it's Kyle Mother-loving Pitts going up and catching this ball. Look at this man go. First, look at the height and the extension. This man is a tight end, folks. A tight end, absolutely mossing this defensive back out there. So, Matt Ryan, throw this up another foot. Throw this ball up another foot in the air, and Kyle Pitts will still be able to go up and get it, and will actually be the only receiver or the only person that could go up and catch this ball. So, he goes up, gets the ball. Unfortunately, when he's bringing it back down, it gets popped out a little bit, but it's Kyle Pitts with the great concentration to go out and catch the ball after the tip. So it's just great here. We could watch it from this angle as well. We get another kind of deeper angle here. Just Kyle Pitts going up and catching the ball, getting challenged here by the defensive back. But it's just Kyle Pitts going up and catching the ball. You absolutely love it. Keeping track. It's popped up. He goes and dives for it, and it's still a completion. So Kyle Pitts, we've heard, he's been killing everybody. He's been lined up all over the field, not just in the tight end position. He's all over the field, and he's coming down with 50-50 balls all the time, folks. So Kyle Pitts, we're big on him. We're big on tight ends, and Kyle Pitts, the highest drafted tight end in tight end history. Watch what this man can do, and I can't wait for this Falcons' first preseason game because I need to see some Kyle Mother-loving Pitts in mother-loving action, folks. Alrighty, those were all the stories that we needed to cover for today. So let's head over and do a new NBA team refresher, folks. We'll spin the wheel and see what team we get. And we'll go over what they did last season, see what they did in this offseason, who did they pick up, who did they lose, who did they get in the draft, and then we'll walk through their schedule to see how many wins we can give them. Now, we have done 5 teams already. They're all up on our YouTube channel if you have not heard them or listened to them. And we are keeping a kind of running list of just how we're kind of positioning these teams in kind of relation to the teams in the league. Who's the best? Who's the worst? So far, we've done the Lions, the Saints, the Broncos, the Raiders, and the Washington football team. We had the Lions going 2-15, a 5-win max season. We have the Saints going 6-11. We have the Broncos going 10-7, 11-6. We have the Raiders going 10-7, and we have Washington going 9-7, but they do have a high ceiling that is 13-4. So we have the Washington football team, the best team so far. Raiders number 2, Broncos number 3, Saints number 4, and Lions number 5, in relation to each other. So we'll see what team we have today. So let's get the wheel up. We do a random team every single day, folks. So let's see who the wheel chooses for today's NFL team refresher. So here we go. Let's spin the wheel. Wheel is spinning. Wheel is slowing down. And the team of our refresher today is... Oh, we're going to have to spin it again. We've already done Washington. How have we chosen 5 teams? And this is a second duplicate that we've gotten. So let's spin it again. Wheel is spinning again. Wheel is slowing down again. And this time the team is... the Denver Broncos, which we've already done. What the heck? This wheel's not good, folks. What is going on here? Can we please get a new team? Third time's a charm. Here we go. Wheel going around again. Wheel slowing down again. And the team that we will be looking at is the Atlanta Falcons. And as we were just talking about Kyle Pitts, folks, we love this man. Oh, Kyle Pitts is the best thing about this team. A rookie tight end is the best thing about this team, folks. Hands down, hands down. Man, oh man. All right, so let's go over the Atlanta Falcons, folks, and see what they are going to be doing this season. So let's start with what the Falcons did last year, folks. Let's see what their record was, just how they were looking, and who they beat. We'll walk through the schedule last season. So here we go. Let's get their season from last season up. Here we go. All righty. They go 4-12, real not good season. They finished last in their division, and obviously with 4 wins, you are not making the playoffs. So let's go over their schedule and just see, did they lose against the best teams? Did they just have a difficult schedule? What happened? So let's just walk through it quickly here. All right, week 1 against the Seahawks, obviously a tough team right there. They lose 25-38. Defense giving up 38 points. That's really not great. Then they go and face Dallas. Once again, very close game here, 39-40, but once again, giving up 40 points, never great. So this Atlanta defense really is going to have to step it up this season. They give up 30 points to the Chicago Bears. Not great. They lose that game 26-30. They lose against the Packers 16-30. They lose against the Panthers 16-23. So, you know, these teams that they should be beating, the Bears, the Panthers, even the Cowboys, really, they're just not winning the games, and they're giving up a lot of points. They only give up 23 points to the Panthers, which is solid, but giving up 30 points to the Bears, that's really kind of inexcusable, honestly. Not great. They get their first win against the Vikings. Offense showed out. Finally, the defense was able to kind of get a hang of itself, putting up 40 points and winning 40-23. This defense actually had a really solid stretch out here for from week 5 to week 14, they didn't give up more than 27 points. They gave up 27 points one game, 24 points one game, and then 23 and less for the other weeks. So a real solid defense right there, and it kind of resulted into a couple of wins throughout that stretch. So week 5 to week 14 was real solid here by this Falcons defense. So they go and beat the Vikings 40-23. They lose against the Lions 22-23. Once again, another real bad loss, losing to the Lions, the Panthers, the Bears. That's 3 more wins that they really should have had. Let's keep it up here. They beat the Panthers the second time, winning 25-17. They beat the Broncos, winning 34-17. They get kind of blown out by the Saints here, losing 24-9. Then they go and beat the Raiders, putting up 43 points and only giving up 6. So we're seeing real high and low swings here, offensively, defensively, by this Falcons team throughout the entire year last year. So it's going to be real interesting to see just how they placed overall in relation offensively and defensively compared to the rest of the league. And we are going to take a look at that in a second. But let's finish off because they go out and lose the last 5 games of the season, folks. Not great. They go out and face the Saints, time number 2. They lose close, 21-16. They lose against the Chargers, 20-17. They lose against the Bucs, 31-27. They lose against the Chiefs, 17-14, and they lose against the Bucs again, getting blown out, 44-27. But real close games here against good teams. Lost by 3 against the Chiefs, lost by 4 against the Bucs, lost by 3 against the Chargers, lost by 5 against the Saints. So real kind of very, very close games. So just real huge swings. Real kind of up and down the entire season, and now they go out and get rid of their head coach, Dan Quinn. I was never a big believer in Dan Quinn, and I really still don't believe in him now as a defensive coordinator of the Cowboys, but I am now big on Arthur Smith, who is now the new head coach for this Falcons team, and he was the offensive coordinator for the Titans the last 2 years, and we know the Titans were real solid. So let's get up Arthur Smith coaching history right here. I want to see what he was doing before being the offensive coordinator for the Titans. I don't believe he was ever a head coach anywhere. So he started in 2007 with the Washington football team as a defensive assistant coach, and then he went to the Titans in 2011, was a defensive assistant coach, and then moved to the offensive line, and then the tight ends, and then the tight ends coach for the Titans, and then the offensive coordinator. So really interesting that he got to start defensively, worked his way into offense, and stayed at offense. So maybe he could have, this is actually a pretty solid head coaching candidate just because he's been on both sides, the offense and the defense. So this could be potential solid here for the Falcons, kind of getting a 2-1. Obviously, you kind of have to choose whether do you want a total offensive-minded head coach, total defensive-minded head coach. Dan Quinn was a defensive-minded head coach. Now they kind of go with Arthur Smith, who's a little bit more of a offensive-minded head coach just because he's been an offensive coordinator. He's never been a defensive coordinator. He's been working with the offensive side of the ball a lot longer, more years than he did the defensive side of the ball. So watch out for this Atlanta offense to be real solid, and they have pieces everywhere. I mean, Kyle Pitts, we brag about. He's going to be fantastic. They have Calvin Ridley, who is not even going to worry about not having Julio Jones. That's not even a thing we have to worry about. We saw Calvin Ridley's status when he was on the field by himself, not having Julio Jones. So Calvin Ridley, the #1 receiver in the games, and he was still putting up 100 yards. No big deal. Getting it done. Had 1,000 yards last season. So the step from being the second wide receiver on the team for Calvin Ridley, stepping up to now the #1 role, we don't think it's going to affect him, and we still see him having big time success. But before we get into all their stats, because I do kind of want to still talk about their offensive pieces and Calvin Ridley even more, I want to see statistically what this Titans team was doing in 2019 and 2020, because this is kind of, Arthur Smith. Was the offense of the Titans his success? Are we going to see that same success this year with the Atlanta Falcons, or was it just the overall talented roster that the Titans had for the last 2 seasons that was for their offensive success? Because the Titans in 2019 went 9-7, got to the AFC Championship game, and then just last year went 11-5, and I believe, did they lose first round of the playoffs? We can get that up. So let's quickly take a look at the Titans' overall offense, because we'll get a good understanding of what Arthur Smith can do offensively for an entire year and what the offense by the numbers look like. So let's get this up quickly. Here we go. So 2019 offensive coordinator, so we can go here. Like we said, it went 9-7. And got to the AFC Championship game and then lost 35-24 against the Chiefs. But once again, not bad. I mean, getting Ryan Tannehill to an AFC Championship game, folks, that's pretty solid. But let's see where their offense ranked in total in 2019. Let's see. Let's take a look by the numbers. All right, offensively, the Titans were the number 10 ranked team offensively, so not bad there. We'll take a top 10 offense. Let's see how they did. They put up 5,800 yards in 2019. Average was 5,500. They put up 402 points. 365 was the average, so fantastic there, putting up more points. Passing, they put up 3,500 yards. The average was 3,700, so below average there. The rushing, though, was at 2,200 yards, and the average was 1,800. 400 more yards above the average because of Derrick Henry. Now, Atlanta, they don't have that good running back, folks. They have Mike Davis. He's all right. He's solid. 600 yards last season for the Panthers. Nothing great. Nothing bad, just average for a tier 2 running back. And we did look at who else they brought in today on the show. What's his name? Forgot his name already. Unfortunate. Deontay Freeman. They do bring in Deontay Freeman, but once again, he's never been anything. He's rarely ever started. He put up 300 yards his rookie year and then never really got any meaningful burn, and we didn't really see anything great in the highlight package. His best run, he got injured on it at the very last good run that we saw. He got injured on, so that wasn't great either. So they're not going to have that elite running game, and in 2019 it was above average, and really why they were in top 10 offensively because of the running game. So that's not the greatest look here for Arthur Smith, but let's see what he did in 2020 offensively in relation to everybody else. So in 2020, the Titans were a 4th ranked offense. That's gosh dang good. Let's see if the passing game improved here. They put up 6,300 yards last season. Fantastic. 5,700 yards was the average. They put up 491 points. The average was 396 points, so 100 more points on average. That's absolutely fantastic. All right, passing, they put up 3,600 yards. The average was 3,800. So the passing game is always below average for Arthur Smith's offense. Now, do we put that on Arthur Smith or do we put that on Ryan Tannehill? I'm leaning more towards putting that on Ryan Tannehill because we classify Ryan Tannehill as an above average game manager quarterback, where Matt Ryan, I don't think he's a game manager quarterback. I think he's just a solid quarterback out there. So I put him above Ryan Tannehill. So that could definitely help out Arthur Smith's passing offense, and especially when they've got great pass catching receivers all over the place. We can bring up their depth chart now. Let's get this up. Calvin Ridley's fantastic. We love that man so much, folks. We're expecting big things from him this season. So this is, a good thing about this Falcons offense. It is kind of weapons loaded like the Titans besides the running game. You had Corey Davis and A.J. Brown. I mean, those are two great wide receivers. Now, Arthur Smith, the new head coach for the Falcons now, they have Calvin Ridley and Russell Gage. I mean, real solid options out there. And then you have Kyle Pitts at the tight end position, who we all know is going to be absolutely magnificent. So, Calvin Ridley last season put up 1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns. Absolutely magnifico. And I just kind of want to show the comparison again, what Calvin Ridley was doing on the field when Julio Jones was off the field, because that is like the one narrative to watch. It's not a narrative that we're putting that much stake into, but it is still a narrative out there. How is Calvin Ridley going to look now that Julio Jones is out there? But it's really a non-narrative because he was doing that last season because Julio Jones was kind of hobbled, I believe, with the hamstring again. So let's get both their stats up and see what Calvin Ridley was doing in the games that Julio Jones was not in, just to kind of, so we can dispel the narrative. We're doing a team refresher. Might as well dispel that narrative while we're here. So let's go to Calvin Ridley, get his stats up. 1,300 yards, folks. It's fantastic. Oh, that's Calvin Johnson. Did I type Calvin Johnson? No, I just said Calvin. Calvin career stats. I mean, when I'm typing in Calvin and Calvin Johnson pops up for Calvin Ridley, that's a pretty good sign for Calvin Ridley, don't you think? So here we go. Let's get Calvin Ridley stats up. The right Calvin. Going into year 4, just getting better every single year, so you love to see it. Like we said, 1,300 yards last season. Absolutely fantastic. Now let's bring up Julio Jones stats just so we can cross-reference the games he was not playing in with the games that Calvin Ridley was playing in. Alrighty, Julio Jones. Here we go. Go to his game logs for last season. Alright, and we see he missed 7 games last season. So let's see what Calvin Ridley did in those 7 games that Julio Jones was not playing. So, game number 1 was week 3 against Chicago. Julio Jones was not playing. Calvin Ridley against Chicago put up 110 yards. No issue there. 110 yards, no touchdowns, unfortunately. So 100-yard receiving while being the number 1 wide receiver. Fantastic. Second game Julio Jones was out was against Carolina week 5. All right, week 5 against Carolina, Calvin Ridley put up 136 yards. No problem. Give me the ball. Yes, sir. So, once again, absolutely magnificent. Also, an 80% catch percentage game. Fantastic. All right. So, first 2 games without Julio Jones. No Julio Jones, no problem, baby. I can be the A1 tier 1. I've got no problem doing that. All right. Next game Julio Jones missed was week 12 against the Raiders. Let's see what he did here. Week 12 against the Raiders. All right, only 50 yards, 1 touchdown, 66% complete catch percentage. But still, they put up 43 points, so everybody else was kind of getting theirs. All right, game number 4 without Julio Jones. We got against Tampa Bay, week 15. Week 15 against Tampa Bay. Oh, Calvin Ridley, 163 yards, 163 yards, folks. Oh, my goodness. Folks, that's the most yards he put up all season while being the number 1. And he had 1 touchdown and 71% catch percentage. Fantastic. Week 16 against the Chiefs. Julio Jones did not play. Calvin Ridley, week 16 against the Chiefs, 130 yards. Fantastic. No touchdowns, unfortunate, but still got the burn there for 130 yards. And then the last week, week 17 against Tampa Bay again, no Julio Jones. Calvin Ridley put up 52 yards, no touchdowns. A little bit more locked up in that game, but overall, I mean, he was getting it done. 100 yards, no problem being the A1 tier 1. So we've got no problem with Calvin Ridley truly being the A1 tier 1, number 1 wide receiver for this Falcons team. We just need kind of Russell Gage to kind of step it up a little bit more. Russell Gage has to go from the 3 to the 2, and that's a little bit more of an interesting narrative in my mind for Russell Gage than Calvin Ridley going from the 2 to the 1. So Russell Gage last season, he put up 786 yards. Let's get up Russell Gage's stats and see what Russell Gage was doing as a number 2 wide receiver last year when Julio Jones wasn't out. So we'll see what he was doing there. We saw Calvin Ridley be fine going from 2 to 1. Is Russell Gage good from going 3 to 2? Because that's something that we need to check out. So let's get that up. I think that's more interesting and something more probably just better to watch for this season than Calvin Ridley going from 2 to 1. All right, so let's get up Russell Gage's game logs. Number 3 wide receiver last season. So here we go. Julio Jones did not play week 3 against Chicago. Week 3 against Chicago, Russell Gage only put up 26 yards. Okay, not great going from the 3 to the 2. Julio Jones didn't play week 5 against Carolina. Week 5 against Carolina, Russell Gage put up 16 yards. Not being so great going from the 3 to the 2. Not great. Very, very not good so far. All right, week 12 against the Raiders, Julio Jones did not play. Russell Gage, week 12 against the Raiders, 34 yards. Going from the 3 to the 2. This is not great, folks. All right, week 13 against the Chargers. Week 13 against the Chargers, Russell Gage, 82 yards. All right, that was his best, our second best game of the season, third best game of the season. All righty, coming into his own down the stretch here. Week 15 against Tampa Bay. Week 15 against Tampa Bay, Russell Gage, 68 yards, 1 touchdown. All righty. Week 16 against the Chiefs, 23 yards, no touchdown. And then week 17 against Tampa Bay, 91 yards. So a little iffy. Was getting into his own down the stretch, was kind of good down the stretch here. The last kind of 4 or 5 weeks of the season. So that is something that we can build upon. It's not as good as Calvin Ridley was. So Russell Gage is going to have to get better in training camp here and truly kind of get up to that level of expectations and just kind of production that we do need to see out of the number 2 wide receiver here. So Russell Gage is a little bit more of a question mark that we have to kind of take a look at as training camp progresses, as preseason games progress. Alrighty, so we talked all about that. Now let's kind of see what the Falcons were doing this year offensively and defensively, because we're having Arthur Smith, a top 10 offense, a top 4 offense. Let's see what he can do here with this Falcons team. Before we get into the 2020, let's quickly see, since we know Arthur Smith is a little bit of a defensive minded, since he did do defense a little bit. Let's see where this Tennessee Titans 2019 and 2020 defense was ranked. We're not going to put that much stake into it because he's more of an offensive minded, but let's just see if he's having a solid impact, a little impact on the defensive side of the ball. Let's see what we get here. So 2019 Titans defense was ranked number 12, real solid. All right, we're not going to go through all the numbers. I just want to get that number 12 out there. That's how much we're really not putting that much stake into it, but we just want a nice reference. All right, and then 2020 defense, was it a little bit better? It was got a little worse. Got a little worse in 2020. 2020 defense for the Titans was... I'm not even seeing it on here. It's so bad, it's not even on. Where the hell is the Tennessee Titans? There it is. Oh, wow. Number 24 ranked. Oof. So, not the greatest here. by Arthur Smith, but once again, he's more offensive minded. So we had a great 2019 defensive year, not really good 2020 defensive year. So a little bit of a work cut out for him on the defensive end of the ball just to kind of get it truly up to snuff, because he can't be a top 24 defense. That's not going to get it done. All right, now let's finally go to what the Falcons team offensively and defensively was looking like, and let's see if Arthur Smith has his work cut out for him. So here we go. 2020 Falcons offense. Atlanta Falcons offense last season was ranked number 16, so basically right in the middle. Basically average. Let's see if they follow all the average. They put up 396 points. The average was 396. They put up 5,800 yards. The average was 5,700. Passing yards, the Falcons put up 4,300 passing yards. The average was 3,800. So the passing game is fantastic. And Arthur Smith is coming from a team that was below average in passing. Falcons rushing stats, they put up 1,500 rushing yards, and there were 400 yards below average that way, with 1,900 yards being the average. So Arthur Smith is coming from a below average passing game and above average running game in Tennessee, and it's flip-flop here with this Falcons team being an above average passing game and a below average running game. So Arthur Smith's going to have to get that running back game right here this season to try to do what he did with the Titans the last 2 seasons. All right, now let's see where this Falcons defense was ranked last season. Last year, the Falcons were ranked 19th defensively. They gave up 414 points. The average was 396, so well above the average, not great. They gave up 6,300 yards. Jeez. Man, that's really bad. Woof. 6,300 yards. The average was 5,700, so real bad. 600 more yards given up than the average. Absolutely not great. They gave up 4,600 passing yards. The average was 3,800, so 800 more yards passing. Oh, my God. And then rushing, they gave up only 1,600, and the average was 1,900. So they're well below. Their rushing defense is good. Passing defense is atrocious, though. All righty. So those were the numbers last year for the Falcons. Now let's see what they did in the offseason. Who did they pick up? Who did they lose? We know they obviously got a new head coach. They lose Julio Jones. Let's see what else they lost and gained here for the Falcons in the offseason. Alrighty, they get Brandon Copeland from the Patriots, a nice linebacker. They bring in Duran Harmon, a safety. From the Lions, they bring in Eric Harris, another safety, I believe, from the Raiders. And they bring in Mike Davis, the running back from the Panthers. So nothing great that they bring in. No kind of home run hitters. Solid kind of role players that are going to have to kind of play up a little bit here for this Falcons team. And we'll see if Arthur Smith has them in the right spots and coaches them up. All right, let's see who they lost. They lost Alex Mack, their center. They lost Charles Harris, an edge rusher. They lost Darquez Denard, their corner, and they also lost Kanu Neal, their safety. So lost a couple of great defensive pieces right here. The edge rusher is always important. Let's see what Darquez Denard was doing last year. We love looking what cornerbacks were giving up last season. So let's see, was he a reason why that Atlanta passing offense was just so atrocious last season? So let's see, Darquez Denard, 5'11". All right, let's see what he was doing. Didn't play. I mean, he missed a lot of games, folks. He only played in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games last season. All right, against Tyler Lockett, he gave up 6 of 6 for 65 yards, 100% catch percentage, not great. Against CeeDee Lamb, 4 of 8 for 47 yards, not bad against CeeDee Lamb, he's great. Darnell Mooney, 8 of 14 for 75 yards. He had a pass breakup and an interception. Against Jerry Jeudy, 0 of 4. Ooh, a lockdown on Jerry Jeudy. That's fantastic. Against Michael Thomas, 7 of 10 for 82 yards. A little bit of a burn there. Against Henry Ruggs, 4 of 6 for 30 yards and a pass breakup. Pretty solid lockup there. Against Emmanuel Sanders, 5 of 6 for 52 yards. And against Tyron Johnson, 6 of 7 for 21 yards. That's a real great lockup there. So overall, not terrible, not bad. Against kind of the A1 tier ones, he's kind of able to lock it up decently. Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb never really got away from him. Michael Thomas never really got away from him, just caught a lot of passes. So not bad by Darquez Denard, and he's going to be a little missed out there, even though he wasn't playing 100% of the games last season. Alrighty, so they get a couple of good defensive pieces, but also lose a couple of good defensive pieces as well. Let's see where their final offensive line rank was. We're assuming it's below average because their rushing attack was below average, but then again, they never really had that good piece. Last season, who was the running back? It was, oh man, let's get it up like here. I want to say, who was it? It was somebody that was trying to get kind of a second chance at it. Todd Gurley, that's who it was. We can still look it up again. Todd Gurley was their starting running back last year. Only rushed for 678 yards. Just was never that kind of back that he needed to be. Once again, I mean, 600 yards is solid for a tier 2. And Todd Gurley, unfortunately, having the arthritis in his knees, is no longer a tier 2 running back. So just bad there. Todd Gurley just couldn't really kind of revitalize his career. And now they're going with Mike Davis. And Mike Davis did exactly what basically Todd Gurley did last season. 600 yards. Let's get up Mike Davis's stats. So I'm just not the biggest believer in Mike Davis. I mean, he had all the ability last season to really make his name known. You played for the Panthers, first year head coach in Matt Rule. So once again, you probably do a little bit more run to control the tempo, control the clock of the game a little bit. You have Teddy Bridgewater, first time quarterback for this Panthers team. No Christian McCaffrey. So it was really Mike Davis's season to really just wow everybody. And he just didn't. It wasn't a bad season. I'm not knocking Mike Davis. It just wasn't a good season, a great season that could have been, should have been a great running season for Mike Davis. So last year, only 642 yards receiving. He caught 373 yards receiving, so that's not bad. He broke 1,000 rushing and receiving, which is solid, and we'll see if he can kind of, increase that with this Falcons team. So if you take the rushing with the passing, it's good. Just rushing by itself, not the greatest. So we'll see what he can do here now, and we'll try to believe in him. I don't want to shit on Mike Davis too much, but let's see where the Falcons offensive line is ranking and seeing if they could be a little bit better than the Panthers were last season for Mike Davis to have success. So here we go. The Falcons were the number... Where they go? We keep on scrolling. Not great. Oh my god, they're bottom 20. 21. They're ranked 21 offensively for their offensive line. All right, let's see what PFF was saying about this Falcons offensive line at the end of last season. Here we go. The Falcons allocated not one, but 2 first-round picks toward improving the right side of their offensive line in the 2019 NFL Draft. Things didn't quite pan out in year 1 for those players, as Chris Lindstrom played just 309 offensive snaps, missing significant time with injury, and Caleb McGarry was routinely beat in pass protection with 13 sacks and 13 quarterback hits allowed in 2019. Yikes for the young guns out there. Fast forward to 2020, and Lindstrom is the highest graded offensive lineman in Atlanta with a 77.1 overall grade. And more offensive snaps than any other player at that position. However, McGarry still had his struggles in pass protection with a 58.2 pass blocking grade this season. He'll need to show signs of improvement there in 2021 to maintain his starting job. So they've got a good one in Lindstrom. Let's see where Lindstrom is on the line. Lindstrom is still here. Chris Lindstrom, and he is the guard. Caleb McGarry at the right tackle. We need a little bit of a better fit for him here. See if he can kind of get it done year 2. So that's their offensive line, ranked number 21. Not the greatest out there. Let's see where they put this Panthers line, just because we're kind of, comparing it to Mike Davis. The Panthers offensive line was ranked... number 18. So really kind of close, just kind of overall grades here between the Panthers and the Falcons offensive line. So hopefully Mike Davis can continue to have decent success here with this Falcons offensive line. All right, let's quickly see what this Falcons team did in the draft this year. Obviously, we know that they went Kyle Pitts with their first-round pick, 4th overall, and we love that. We love Kyle Pitts hugely. They have Richie Grant in the 2nd round to safety. Once again, we saw that they lost to safety. They go and bring one in. They go in the 3rd round in offensive tackle just to kind of shore it up a little bit. They really want that line to be good. Is Jalen Mayfield now in the starting lineup. Where is he at? Jalen Mayfield is the right tackle behind Caleb McGarry. So if Caleb McGarry's once again not getting it done, he didn't get it done in 2019 rookie year. He didn't really have that great success last season either. So it's really put up or shut up time for Caleb McGarry. We do have a replacement in the wings in Jalen Mayfield, the rookie. So it's put up or shut up for Caleb McGarry this year, folks. We'll see if he can get it done. All right, what else did they get here? In the 4th round, they went cornerback and center. Drew Dahlman. Is Drew Dahlman the center? He is not their starting center, even close to starting center. So Matt Hennessy, he still has that starting job, just kind of an extra depth there for the lineman position. Then they go out and get a defensive tackle in the 5th round. They had 3 5th-round picks: defensive tackle, defensive end, and cornerback. But these are 5th-round picks. We really can't expect them to be kind of instant starters. Really kind of first 3 picks, first 3-round picks, you pretty much assume they should be able to fight for a starting position. So this kind of end of the draft defense, that the defense really needs to kind of get their shit together a little bit, it may not have been the greatest kind of draft overall. Yes, Kyle Pitts is great, but maybe you should have shored up the defense a little bit first. It's hard, you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't. You shore up the defense, the offense maybe suffers. You shore up the offense, the defense still suffers. So we'll see if the right move was made. Only time will tell, obviously. So overall, nothing truly great defensively. We'll see what Richie Grant has got. A nice 6-foot safety. Is he in the starting lineup now defensively? He is. Richie Grant is their starting safety. So he's going to kind of have to make that, you know, immediate impact year 1 here, rookie year. All right, let's read what Bleacher Report is kind of giving the Falcons on their overall off-season grade, based on everything, the grade, the off-season pickups, all that, the off-season departures, all that. And then we'll go a little bit deeper into their defense and what we can expect, and then we'll walk through their schedule. So here we go. Key additions, obviously, running back Mike Davis, tight end Lee Smith. That doesn't matter. You got Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is 1,000% better than Lee Smith. Lee Smith shouldn't even see the field, honestly. And that's no disrespect to Lee Smith. That's just how great Kyle Pitts is going to be. He should be out there every single snap, offensively and defensively, honestly. Leave him out on the field. He can do everything. They bring in an edge rusher, Bartavius Mingo, an edge rusher, Brandon Copeland, a cornerback, Fabian Moreo, safety Eric Harris, and safety Duron Harmon. The draft key additions: Kyle Pitts, safety Richie Grant, offensive lineman Jay Mayfield. Key departures: guard Justin McGarry, center Alex Mack, safety Canu Neal, and defensive back DeMonte Kazee, and safety Ricardo Allen. Now, this is what Bleacher Report says about the Falcons offseason. Here we go. Pitts makes the Atlanta Falcons better, but can one rookie tight end change a franchise overnight? Yes. Yes, he can. He can 1,000,000%. He can. So, I think we're done. I think we're done here. Falcons go 17-0 because they have Kyle Pitts. End of story. We're back tomorrow, folks, with a new team. All right, let's finish this up. That's the onus he faces after the team essentially slept through free agency as a result of cap constraints, not great, brought on by massive contracts belonging to quarterback Matt Ryan and wide receiver Julio Jones. Atlanta is coming off 3 consecutive, and that's why we know they traded Julio Jones, because they were able to get more cap space. So once again, we'll see what other moves they make here at the kind of thick of training camp to see what they are missing and what they truly need to bring in to shore up whatever piece it is: offense, defense, running back, corners, safeties, defensive linemen, whatever it has to be. So they do have a little bit more flexibility now that Julio Jones is kind of out of town. And we wanted them to use the money to go out and get Le'Veon Bell just to shore up their running game a little bit, just so that offense is elite from wide receiver to tight end to running back to quarterback. That's really what we wanted, but also bringing in some defensive players could be nice as well. All right, Atlanta is coming off 3 consecutive losing seasons and now has even more questions along the offensive line and on defense. Losing Mack and exchanging Neal, Kazee, and Allen for Harris, Harmon, and Moreo isn't likely to make the Falcons a contender, while Mingo and Copeland are unlikely to resurrect the pass rush. They also drafted Grant with more polished Trayvon Moehrig available, although they could have a superstar in Pitts, and they got good value in Mayfield in round 3, so their draft performance was solid overall, but it wasn't enough. They could still trade Jones to save a bunch of dough, which they actually did. This was before that happened, but it's hard to see that making them better in the short term. They've been mediocre the last few seasons, and that won't change. Alrighty, so Arthur Smith really has his kind of work cut out for him on the defensive end of the ball. I believe Arthur Smith is going to be able to make this offense work. I mean, at the quarterback position, Matt Ryan is a slight upgrade over Ryan Tannehill. Do I have that officially? We just kind of ranked our top quarterbacks the other day. Is that what we have? No, we have Ryan Tannehill above Matt Ryan. We'll see what Matt Ryan can do. Just Ryan Tannehill has that kind of dual threat ability game that we do like, and Matt Ryan doesn't really have the legs to kind of get it done, but we'll see if he can still get it done passing wise. They're not that far from each other. Maybe we have Ryan Tannehill a little overvalued. Maybe we may have Ryan Tannehill a little overvalued here. Yeah, maybe we should bring that down. So we may have to fix this list a little bit before the season begins. But yeah, Matt Ryan is very similar to Ryan Tannehill. He's got a better arm. Let's just leave it at that. Matt Ryan's got a better arm than Ryan Tannehill does. So Arthur Smith getting a slight upgrade at quarterback. Wide receiver wise, working with Corey Davis and AJ Brown. I mean, Calvin Ridley and Russell Gage. I would say Calvin Ridley's better than AJ Brown and Corey Davis. Russell Gage is not better than any of those two. So overall, it kind of washes out at like the same level of receiver. Running back, I mean, they're not even in the same stratosphere, folks. I'm not even going to say the names. Mother loving Derrick Henry is so much better than Mike Davis. I mean, they're not even close. So he is going to have to kind of make up for it a little bit there. Arthur Smith maybe faulting on the running game a little bit. And then Kyle Pitts is better than whatever the Titans had at tight end, which was Jonnu Smith, if I'm getting that right. So they are really kind of only taking one step back roster-wise for Arthur Smith in having Mike Davis over Derrick Henry, unfortunately. All right, let's see what this Atlanta defense is doing here. I want to kind of look at some of their corners. Can we believe in their corners? Kendall Sheffield and A.J. Terrell. So let's quickly look at their corners. On the defensive ends, they got Jacob Tutue Mariner. How many sacks did he have last season? Only one. Ooh, not great. Their other kind of edge rusher, Dante Fowler. Solid option out here. He had 3 sacks last season. Could be a little bit better. Linebackers, McCall Walker, Deion Jones, Forsad Olukum. So we're going to need them to kind of step it up as well. So now let's go to these corners and see if they are shutting down the A1 Tier 1 wide receivers. So let's bring up Kendall Sheffield first. Kendall Sheffield, where art thou? Here we go. Kendall Sheffield, here we go. Last season, against Marquez Valdez-Scantling, 6 of 11 for 76 yards, 1 pass breakup. Against Robbie Anderson, 9 of 15 for 122 yards and a pass breakup. That's a little bit of a burn. Against Justin Jefferson, 7 of 9 for 154 yards. This man is getting burned all over the place, folks. Against Kenny Galladay, 9 of 11 for 127 yards. Jeez Louise. Against Jerry Jeudy, 4 of 6 for 80 yards and a pass breakup. Against Michael Thomas, 1 of 1 for 6 yards. You locked him down, but it's only 1 throw. Against Michael Thomas, game 2, 0 of 0 for 0 yards. All right, locking him up. Against Mike Evans, 2 of 3 for 11 yards. Against Antonio Brown, 5 of 9 for 56 yards. Against DeMarcus Robinson, 6 of 11 for 69 yards and a pass breakup. But he got better as the season progressed. Missed a couple of games early in the year. Was able to lock up Michael Thomas at the end of the year. He got beat by Jerry Jeudy. Was able to lock up Nelson Aguilar and Mike Thomas. So that's solid. So got a little bit better as the season progressed. Maybe we can kind of, take that as a little bit of a silver lining. Got absolutely torched the first couple weeks, so geez. All right, and then the other corner that we have to look up is, who was it, A.J. Terrell? A.J. Terrell, the left corner. And then we will walk through their schedule and see how many wins we can give them. A.J. Terrell. Come on, bring up his name. Here we go. And A.J. Terrell last season at the cornerback position. He's 6'1", which is fantastic, and he's 22, so young gun over there. All right, against David Moore of the Seahawks, 7 of 7 for 89 yards. A little bit of a burn there by nobody a little bit. Against Michael Gallup, 4 of 5 for 39 yards. Solid there. Against DJ Moore, 5 of 5 for 60 yards. Got burned there. Against Adam Thielen, 5 of 7 for 53 yards. Against Robbie Anderson, 5 of 9 for 108 yards. Against Tim Patrick of the Broncos, 4 of 8 for 55 yards and gave up pass defense. Against Michael Thomas, 5 of 6 for 82 yards. Against Henry Ruggs, 5 of 8 for 70 yards. Michael Thomas, round 2, 8 of 11 for 96 yards in a pass breakup. Against Keenan Allen, 7 of 10 for 52 yards. That's a pretty good lockup right there. Against Mike Evans, 7 of 10 for 117 yards. Burn. That's a burn. Against Sammy Watkins, 5 of 10 for 66 yards, and against Antonio Brown, 4 of 10 for 67 yards. So overall, just not terrible, not getting extremely torched, locking up the tier 2s decently, but still giving up some chunk yardage here. Overall, not bad for a number 2. We'll see if he can kind of get a little bit better. Alrighty, so now the last thing to do is walk through their schedule. How many games can we expect this Falcons team to win? Do they have an easy schedule, hard schedule? And we'll see if there's anything that's going to kind of bring down their win total. So let's go to Atlanta's schedule and walk through that and see how many wins we can give them. Here we go. Starting week 1, at home against the Eagles. This is a winnable game. I mean, I'm not big on this Eagles team. Their defense is not that great, and they don't have that many weapons offensively. Jalen Hurts going into year 2. I'm going to take Matt Ryan here week 1. I think this is a solid winnable game for them. We'll give them a win. Then they have to go on the road against Tampa Bay and face the Bucs. That's going to be a huge game, and I just don't know if their defense is up to cover this Bucs offense. So I got to give them a loss, especially on the road here. Cannot give them a win. But then they go at the Giants, and this is a winnable game as well. We haven't really been seeing that great things here in training camp for the Giants, and it's leaving a real bad taste in our mouth. It's just, how is this Falcons team going to look offensively with Arthur Smith? We think it's going to be a little bit of an upgrade. We do like this Giants defense overall, and I think I'm going to give this Falcons team a win here on the road against the Giants. Then they go at home and face Washington. I'm going to give them a win there as well. And this is a real favorable schedule. Oh, my God. Their first couple of games, Eagles, Bucs, Giants, Washington, Jets, and then we get the bye. Man, oh, man. So I'm going to give them a win against Washington here. They're at home for this game. Just don't love Washington's offense, and this is kind of a solid game for this Atlanta defense to really make itself known and to kind of get its feet underneath them defensively early on in the season. So we'll see if Atlanta takes advantage of this kind of easier, lighter schedule. We've already seen tougher schedules right out of the gate, and we've only covered 5 teams so far, folks. So this is a real favorable schedule early on for Atlanta. We'll see if it keeps up. Then week 5 here against the Jets, 9:30 a.m. game. I think this is a London game. Ooh, a London game, and I'm going to just give it to Atlanta. I mean, over the Jets, where you have a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback, where Atlanta, you have a first-time head coach, but a, tried-and-true veteran quarterback in Matt Ryan. So we'll give them a win against the Jets, having 4 wins going into the bye, real solid. Then they go to Miami. I'm going to give the Dolphins a win there. I think the defense will be solid and lock up the offense a little bit. Then they go and face the Carolina Panthers, and this is another winnable game at home. I'll give them a win there. I'm not buying into Sam Darnold. I'm not. So a winnable game there against Carolina. We'll give them a win. We will have them split against the Saints, so we'll have them win their home game, so they lose whatever week we're on, whatever. What did we got? Week 8, something like that. Week 7, 8 when they face the Saints at home. We'll give them a loss there. Then they go and face the Cowboys at home. A little bit of a revenge game from last season when they gave up 40 points, a close game. But overall, I think the Cowboys offense just stacks up on that Falcons defense. So give them a loss there against the Cowboys. Here we go. Thursday Night Football against the Patriots at home. This is a winnable game. I'm not believing in this Patriots offense, and I'm going to give them a win against the Patriots at 6. Then they're at Jacksonville. I'll give them a win there. I'm not buying into Urban Meyer, and it's the overall offense and defense of the Jags, so we'll give them a win there. That's 7. Then they're back at the Bucs. I don't even think I can give them the split against the Bucs, unfortunately. I actually might give them both a win against the Saints just because no Drew Brees and it's a bad defense too. So not going to give them the split against the Bucs, unfortunately. So we'll have them lose against the Bucks. Then they go and face the Panthers again, and I'm going to have them with another win. I think they can sweep the Panthers. No big deal. I think we'll give them a win there. The 49ers, I'm going to give them a loss. Should be a close game. It is a decently winnable game, depending on, I mean, we know this is late in the season, so Jimmy Garoppolo probably isn't healthy. So this could be a winnable game if the defense is kind of getting right as the season progresses. But I think I'm going to give them a loss for today. And then they go and face the Lions at home. Easy win there. Easy peasy. We're at 9. They have to go to Buffalo. They lose that game. And then the last game of the season against the Saints at home. I'm going to give them a win here. A win against the Saints. And do we take back? And I'm going to take it back. I'm going to give them a win early on in the season against the Saints, on the road against the Saints for 11 wins. They sweep the Panthers, they sweep the Saints, and they get swept by the Bucks for 11 wins. I think this is a winnable, workable schedule for the Falcons, folks. I mean, who's their toughest opponents? The Bucks. The Bills. That's 3 games. That's 3 tough games. The Cowboys is going to be a tough one. The Dolphins should be a tough one, but it's still decently winnable. I'm not putting that out of the realm of possibilities of not winning, but having to face the Giants, the Eagles, the Washington football team, the Jets, the Patriots, the Jags, the Panthers twice, the Saints twice, the Lions, the 49ers. Real winnable, favorable schedule here for the Falcons, and we'll see if Arthur Smith, year 1, can take advantage and seize the opportunity. We'll have him officially marked down at 11-6. Real solid work here for the Falcons, and we'll see if it's enough to win the division, and we'll see if it's enough to get into the playoffs. So let's make the note here. Atlanta Falcons, get them on our working list. We got 11-6. Real solid year for them. 17 games total. All right, now where do we rank them among the other ones? I'm gonna put them right under. I'm going to put them right under the Raiders, slightly above the Broncos right here. Maybe I should put them under the Broncos. This is tough. I'm going to put them under the Raiders just because I think their offense might be a little bit smidge better. They're kind of both in the same defensive boat, not the greatest. Maybe the Raiders' defense is a slight step above the Falcons. But I think we'll leave the Falcons above the Broncos. I got to see that defense of the Broncos. I'm hearing good things about the Broncos. On paper, it's good. We have to see it live in action, and we'll see how good Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock are going to be for this team overall, quarterback-wise. But I'm kind of buying into Arthur Smith heavily here. I'm kind of very much into him and seeing what he can do here for this Falcons team as a head coach. So we're going to leave the Falcons above the Broncos, right under the Raiders, and under the Washington football team, just because they do have a really high ceiling as well because of a more favorable schedule, just depending on what Ryan Fitzpatrick does for that team. So Atlanta Falcons, real solid year, potentially. If that defense can be real solid, it's a little bit of a question mark if it can, and we'll see how good the running game is, but real favorable schedule here for the Falcons. Winnable games here, folks. We're talking about wins here. Winnable, easy, favorable schedule. We'll see if they go out and take advantage. All right, so that's going to do it for us today. We're back with a new team tomorrow in our NFL team refresher and seeing what the wheel has in store for us. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We are back live tomorrow, noon Eastern. Are we having any breaking news? Any breaking news? Justin Fields has already completed more long passes over the middle in this camp than Trubisky did in 4 years. Jeez Louise. Oh, man. We're believing in Justin Fields, folks. We got them plus 300. Plus 300 to be the starting quarterback week 1. Alrighty, folks. It doesn't seem like anything is breaking, so we will be back live tomorrow, folks. Livity live. Alrighty. That's going to do it for us today, folks. Nothing new. All right. So we're back live tomorrow, noon Eastern. All right, folks. We're out.